Good evening, everyone. I was going to wait until 10:30, but my brother's in the comment section. He said, let's do this. So I figured I'd start a little early. Hopefully you had enough time to read my grades, watch my grades, take in my grades somehow. If you missed them, real quick: Mullins, A-, running backs, A-, wide receivers, B-, tight ends, A, offensive line, C, D-line, D, linebackers, C, defensive backs, F-, special teams, A, coaches, C, quality control, A+. If you want the explanations, go check it out. Otherwise, stick with me, and I'll give you my off-the-cuff analysis of that loss. First of all, the season's not over. They're not out of it. This is the toughest game remaining on their schedule. They could win. They could beat Washington next week. Alex Smith isn't as good as Josh Allen. Whoever the Cowboys have at quarterback isn't as good as Josh Allen. Just because they lost to the Bills, it doesn't mean they're going to lose the next couple of games, although Washington just beat Pittsburgh. So that's interesting. But let's talk defense, because the Niners lost. I'll get to Mullins later. You guys are really upset about that. You guys really like to crush a guy who's making $750K. Anyway, Saleh. Let's talk about the defense, because the defense lost the game. And I'm used to one of two things. When the offense loses the game, I get a million texts and tweets about how bad Nick Mullins is. When the defense loses the game, I get a million texts and tweets about how bad Robert Saleh is. The rest of the NFL is fighting over Robert Saleh. He's the most coveted head coaching candidate, and Niner fans want him to get fired. So what did Robert Saleh do wrong? First of all, if anyone in the comment section has a suggestion about what Robert Saleh should have done differently, I'd love to hear it. He tried playing zone, didn't work. He tried playing man, didn't work. He was in a tough spot. Now, I can say what I would have done differently than him. I understand where he's coming from, but if you can't get pressure with 4, you have to rush 5. And if you can't get pressure with 5, you have to rush 6. That's like one of the oldest cliches in football, right? You've all heard that. You can't just let the quarterback stand there. You can't let a quarterback complete 80% of his passes on you. You can't. If you blitz, you at least force him to make some lower percentage throws down the field. But the problem with blitzing, bringing 5 guys, is you really have to play man-to-man coverage. It's hard to bring extra rushers and play zone because you just have so much space in between the people playing zone. 6 guys in zone coverage, 5 guys in zone coverage is not enough. Zone blitzes usually overload one side while dropping defensive linemen into zones. So you still have a 4-man rush with 7 people in coverage. That's how zone blitzes work. Zone blitzes weren't going to be enough in this game. The Niners needed to rush 5 and 6 to get pressure, and they didn't. So I would blame Robert Saleh for that. You can't allow the quarterback to stand there and dice up zone coverage. Now, what Saleh would say, I'm guessing, is that, look, I gotta play to Richard Sherman's strengths. He can't cover man-to-man. Every time I went to man-to-man, they hit us with the crossing route, and he got burned. That's a fair answer. Richard Sherman really does stink in man-to-man coverage. And you saw as soon as he went out this year, the Niners defense changed. It became more of a man-to-man team. Emmanuel Mosley plays that much better than Sherman. They improved, not just because their man-to-man coverage was so dominant, but they could do both. They could disguise one as the other. And all of a sudden, quarterbacks were confused. Did Josh Allen look confused in this game? Hell freaking no. So what I would say to Robert Saleh is stop propping up Richard Sherman. Call what works for your defense, not what works for Richard Sherman. Because while he's chilling there on the left boundary, not getting any work, the rest of your defense is getting torched up the seams. Jason Verrett, even worse than Richard Sherman. Verrett was pretty good when they could play man cover some of the time, but when they know he's in zone every time, he's not built for that. He's a small little guy. He's built for man-to-man coverage. So Sherman either, you could say, limits what Robert Saleh covers. That's what Saleh would most likely would say. Hey, look, my hands are tied. I got Richard Sherman. What do you want me to do? What I would say is, dude, stop propping him up. Call what's best for the whole defense. And if Richard Sherman gets burned, that's one guy. He'll live with it. I almost wonder if Saleh protects Sherman so much because Sherman lobbies for him to get a head coaching job. Like, are you afraid that Sherman is going to talk bad about you in the press if you hang him out to dry in man-to-man coverage? Well, then Sherman has this defense like at gunpoint. You know, he's got it and he can do whatever he wants. He's dictating what you call. You can't let that happen. So it'll be interesting next week. I don't anticipate the Niners winning any more games that Dante Johnson has to play. My God. How many games has he lost for them throughout the years? I mean, geez. So they're not going to win any more games with Dante Johnson. If Emmanuel Mosley comes back next week, that's a different defense. It's a different issue. It'll be interesting to see what the Niners do with Richard Sherman down the line. He should be fine against Alex Smith and Andy Dalton the next 2 weeks. The issue is going to be against Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson. Because again, if you just play zone defense, then the Niners aren't going to be able to cover DK Metcalf and DeAndre Hopkins. So it'll be interesting to see what Saleh does. It seemed like there was no right answer. And honestly, if he had blitzed a bunch, the Niners probably would have got torched too. It's like, how do you want to get beat? Do you want to get beat giving up 80% completions and a bunch of dinks and dunks? Or do you want to get beat with a bunch of throws down the field? Pick. And if they had blitzed a bunch, maybe that's what would have happened. They just would have got torched down the field with Richard Sherman in man-to-man coverage. Richard Sherman wasn't really giving Saleh a lot of – let's talk about Sherman. I mean, we already are. But when he called man-to-man coverage, Richard Sherman, like, mugged a guy, grabbed him, and negated an interception. That's how bad Richard Sherman is in man-to-man coverage. He'll just grab. He'll hang on. Like, hey, you got me. I can't cover that route. I'll take the penalty. Better than giving up the 50-yard touchdown and being on SportsCenter or whatever. So it's hard to win with Richard Sherman and Dante Johnson on the field. And Jason Verrett. This is what happens when you neglect cornerback. The Niners are built to play zone defense. That's 7 deep, 7 in coverage, 4 rushing. That means you got to have the best 4-man pass rush in the league. Niners don't have that. When you have good corners, you don't have to have an elite pass rush. You can blitz. That's the word. You can freaking blitz. All right. So Saleh, not as bad as you guys think, but could have done better. There was no adjustment. The adjustment should have been to blitz his ass. Talk about Josh Allen. Can't let him sit there and complete 80% of his passes. Can't let him do it. Robert, don't you let Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray do that down the stretch. Tavarius Moore, I want to apologize to you. Last week I did a bunch of apologies to 49ers players that I kind of like to take back because those, I mean, Richard Sherman, my God, I apologize to him. I was right. Anyway, I feel like I owe you an apology because I kept saying, like, Tavarius Moore, good player, hell of a player. He may end up being a good player, but he makes rookie mistakes, man. He makes like 2 plays a game that just are backbreakers. So when I said he's a playmaker, I was right. Wow, he is a playmaker. Unfortunately, he makes them for both teams. Recently, more frequently for the opposing team. I mean, he was so bad in this game, if the Niners had other options, they might have benched him. He made it through the entire 4 quarters because by default, because he stayed healthy. There was no one to tap him out. So, yeah, not good. I don't know if he's the future at free safety. What I would like to see is the Niners move Richard Sherman the hell out of cornerback, put him at free safety, play him with Jimmy Ward, and have Emmanuel Mosley and Jason Verrett be your corners. I don't know who's going to play in the nickel. I don't know. K1 when he comes back, it shouldn't be Dante Johnson, but Sherman needs to get out. Get him out of corner, put him at safety, play him next to Ward, get Moore the hell out of there, or keep playing him and lose. I don't know. Let him lose on the job. Let him learn on the job while you guys lose. Get him the hell out of there. Get Sherman at safety, Ward at safety, Mosley and Verrett outside. All of a sudden, I don't know about how I feel about Verrett. I'm not going to write him off. He was good when the Niners were playing both man and zone coverages. Today, they played a bunch of zone, and he got picked on. 11 tackles, though. Nice. If you play 15 yards off your man, you're going to give up a lot of short catches and you're going to have to tackle. But you can be proud of those 11 tackles, Jason. All right, let's talk Shanny. Let's talk Shanahan, then we'll talk Mullins. Shanahan's a hell of a coach. 24 points with his backup quarterback and no George Kittle. Good. So when I criticize Shanahan, I'm not calling him a bad coach. I'm just holding him to a high standard because he's very good, and a good coach like him shouldn't make the mistakes I'm going to lay out. First of all, where was Raheem Mostert? Where was he? Did something happen there? Did he get hurt? Is he upset? Did he not feel like playing? He was averaging 4.7 yards per carry. He's the kind of guy where if you give him 15 carries, one could be the 80-yard touchdown run. So he just disappeared from the game, Raheem Mostert. Debo Samuel, non-factor until garbage time. There was no way Kyle Shanahan could have got the ball in Debo Samuel's hands earlier in the game. Now, Debo Samuel isn't the greatest wide receiver. He's a hell of a player, though. He plays wide receiver like a running back. Give him the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Let him break tackles. They didn't let him do that until deep into the game. Deep into the game. What was that? So, I mean, I'm not saying, Kyle, you're bad. I'm just like, dude, what? What? Other things. The no-huddle offense. It freaking worked. It was working. It led every time the Niners went no-huddle, they marched down the field easily. And yet Kyle didn't stick with it. Kyle is a very smart coach. He's forward-thinking. He's creative. He's not the most aggressive coach. I mean, really. He lets all the time run off the clock in between plays. He sees that Nick Mullins is at his best in a hurry-up mode and doesn't let him do it. What are you afraid of? What? I mean, you have no confidence in your offense. It actually was pretty good today. It's better than your defense. You needed your offense to win this game for you. And what you were doing was hiding your offense. Let's just kill time. Let's take time off the clock. That wasn't going to get it done today, Kyle. And you had a quarterback who was actually confident. Nick Mullins' confidence grew and grew and grew as that game went on. All right, let's talk. So I just don't understand. Like, you're better than this today. You see things that are working and you don't stick with it. You forget about Debo Samuel and Raheem Mostert. What's up with that? I know you like calling plays for Brandon Eyuk. He's a good player. Why are you forgetting about your other guys? I don't know, man. I don't know. Not his best performance. So not Salah's best performance either. Let's talk Nick Mullins, because I think you guys all wanted me to like crush him. Here's how I view Nick Mullins' performance. First of all, he got hit 7 times. That's a lot. He gets crushed because the NFL doesn't care about him. He's not an asset. He's not a ratings draw. You can just tee off on Nick Mullins. If you breathe on Josh Allen, it's a 15-yard penalty. 7 hits is a lot. The Niners have now given up 61 quarterbacks hits this season. That's tops in the league. Tops. 61 quarterback hits through 5 games. That's 5 a game. So the Niners exceeded their average today. Gave up 7 hits. Nick Mullins constantly getting hit, constantly having to extend plays. It's not his game. So he was tough. He battled. He threw for 313 yards, 3 touchdown passes. He had 2 picks. One of them was bad. One of them was his fault. That sequence with the false start on the quarterback sneak and then the interception in the end zone, bad. Nothing else you can say about it. But you take away, okay, that's on him. The other interception was not. The other interception was Brandon Ayuk's fault. That was a strike to Eyuk, who caught the ball and then like tossed it to the Bills, who intercepted it. There's no way you can blame Nick Mullins for that. He wasn't perfect in the game. The stuff he did in the goal line that one time was bad. But the other interception was on Eyuk. You take that interception away, Nick Mullins' quarterback rating was 115. You keep him. You give him that interception. Say you feel like, I'm not giving him any favors. His quarterback rating was 95. This is a guy making $750,000 a year. He is outperforming his contract. That's all you can ask a player. What more do you want from him? No one says he's worth $25 million a year. Why does he need to play like that? He gave the Niners a chance to win. He did his best Jimmy Garoppolo impression. And in fact, he made throws in this game that Jimmy wouldn't have made. That deep throw to Brandon Eyuk, Jimmy doesn't make that throw. Jimmy misses that throw. That was a hell of a throw. Niners were 6 for 11 on third down. That's really good. I don't know. I feel like that's basically the most you can expect from Nick Mullins. Is he going to make some mistakes again? Yeah. He's not going to play a flawless game. I mean, the quarterback sneak mistake, that was bad. At the same time, it was a bad call. Don't call the quarterback sneak with your soft offensive line and your tiny little quarterback. Nick Mullins has struggled with the quarterback sneak before. Stop that. Just give it to Juszczyk, dude. We've gone over this, Kyle. Just give it to Juszczyk. So I don't know, a backup quarterback. He beat the freaking Rams last week, and he threw for 300 plus yards against another playoff team this week. You saw the graphic tonight that he's third all time, most passing yards ever through the most whatever starts he's had behind Patrick Mahomes and Andrew Luck. How do you not like this guy? Your backup quarterback is in a list with Andrew Luck and Patrick Mahomes, the backup. And you're going to get a guy in the first round next year. He's your long-term backup. And he's like putting up records. Now he's not winning consistently. He's your backup quarterback. I don't know. I could have gave him a B, but a 95 quarterback rating, I don't know. That's better than a B. And then one of the picks wasn't even his fault. So to me, A, and the demerit is what happened at the goal line. That's can't happen. But other than that, he was 26 of 39. Okay. One of the incomplete passes was the Brandon Eyuk one where he threw the ball to the defense. Another incomplete pass was Debo Samuel dropping the ball. And another incomplete pass was Jordan Reed breaking up a pass intended for Kendrick Bourne. That was a strike. So really he was like 30 for 39 with one interception. I mean, it was a pretty good game. I don't know. You guys, if you give Mullins a hard time for this game, you either hate him or you hate me or both. Or you just like nitpicking me. So I don't know. Hey, have fun. Nick Mullins, I think that's a confidence-boosting performance. I do. Let's talk about Debo Samuel and Brandon Eyuk. We've had debates about who is the MVP of this offense. Who is the better player? And I've been, I like Debo Samuel, but I've always been I feel like he's better after the catch than before it. I feel like he drops a lot of passes and doesn't have a big catch radius. He's not the best wide receiver. He's very good after the catch. He is a versatile running back who plays wide receiver. Really good player. I prefer Brandon Eyuk. And Brandon Ayuk's a little loose with the football. He needs to not, carry it out here and throw the ball to the other team when he catches it. He's a hell of a player. And we saw Debo Samuel get erased from this game. Now, Kyle could have manufactured ways to get him touches with, screens and stuff like that, but he wasn't beating Tre'Davious White. That wasn't happening. Absolutely not. Not going to happen. Brandon Eyuk is much harder to guard. He's a much better route runner. He's just a better wide receiver. Better hands, bigger catch radius, more elusive without the ball in his hands, and a damn good player after the catch as well. So I feel pretty vindicated on that one. Brandon Eyuk, man, I mean, he still looks like a freaking stud. That deep catch he had was great. He needs to just be a little bit more consistent, but I wasn't alive in 1985. I hear that Jerry Rice had drop issues too as a rookie. Debo concerns me. Like, he doesn't get open consistently. Eyuk does. Eyuk gets open consistently like you would expect a first-round wide receiver to do. Debo, he does what he does well. But in this game, it was invisible. I should take some questions because you guys are asking them. Will the Niners be able to improve their offensive line if they play $25 million for a quarterback? How do the Niners improve their offensive line? How? If they're spending all this money on their quarterback or they're drafting quarterback in round one, how? Good O-line all around. Mullins is enough to win games. Save the $28 million a year and send it to the O-line. Yeah. Get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. He makes too much money to play this way. For the way Jimmy plays, he should be making $1 million a year. That's Nick. Nick does the Jimmy stuff for what you should be paying for that. Now you can save that money and actually improve the offensive line. This offensive line is dreadful. It's soft. Soft. That's the worst thing you could say about an offensive line, right? Soft. Is it too much to ask Arik Armstead to do something? I mean, this guy is getting a real pass this year. He's having a terrible year. He's having a pathetic, embarrassing year. He's having a year that Solomon Thomas would be embarrassed to have. If Solomon Thomas was playing like this, he'd be like, man, I got to step it up, dude. Man, I'm not playing at my usual Solomon Thomas level. Arik Armstead hasn't touched a quarterback more than once since week 4. The guy has one quarterback hit since week 4. They're paying this guy as a pass rusher. They're not paying him $17 million a year to clog the run. No, that's a bonus. You get paid $17 million a year because you're a pass rusher. You had double-digit sacks last season. He may not have double-digit sacks the rest of his career. He's not even getting close. He got some praise tonight for chasing a play down the field. Whoop-de-doo. It's the first time you've ever done that. You're making $17 million. You don't even come close. You don't even come close to touching the quarterback, Arik. It's embarrassing. You're lucky that Mike McGlinchey's on the team. Otherwise, you'd be the most embarrassing person on it. I mean, Mike McGlinchey has like embarrassing moments where he falls over and stuff and we laugh. You have no production. And you're the highest paid player on the team other than Dee Ford and Jimmy Garoppolo. Hey, at least you're having a better season than those two. I got to give you that. Was it so much to expect you to have some sort of an impact on this game? I guess it was. What are we going to expect from you next week? More of the same? Hey, Arik, why don't you tweet something at me now? You were real aggressive and confident on Twitter in January when you were coming off that season. I haven't heard you tweet recently. Why don't you tell me what you think of my analysis now, Arik? I'm sorry, did you say something? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, what was that? I don't think I'm going to be giving you an apology anytime soon. In fact, I think you should give me an apology. I think I deserve an apology from Arik Armstead, and I definitely deserve an apology from Richard Sherman. Richard, unblock me. I'm not your problem. Your problem is your Achilles tendon and your 32-year-old legs. Look, I sympathize. I'm 2 months older than you, man. I can't run anymore. I used to run a 4.5. I was faster than you, Richard. I can't do it anymore. I'm probably still faster than you. So I'm not going to apologize to you. I will vote for you if I get a vote for the Hall of Fame. I think you've earned it. But no, you're done. And you've been propped up. You were done last year, to be honest. You were propped up by that pass rush all season. And then you got exposed in the playoffs. And you got exposed again today. And what I don't like about Richard Sherman, he blocks people who criticize his play. That's weak. And then after the game today, a game in which he freaking stunk and made any number of errors, gave up a touchdown catch, long catch. Someone said, hey, what happened on that one long one down the sideline? He goes, oh, yeah, someone else missed their assignment. Oh, okay. It's never your fault, right? That's great, Richard. That's leadership right there. Nice. Oh, someone else on the back end. I was doing a blah, blah, blah. Nah, man. Just say I didn't play it well enough. Don't blame someone else. When Joe Staley and the offensive line played poorly, Joe wouldn't be like, well, technically that was the left guard's responsibility. He wouldn't throw teammates under the bus. He'd say, I didn't play well enough and neither did any of us. That's what you say, Richard. That's your job. I didn't play well enough and none of us did. Not, well, I did my job and there was a bust. No, dude. No. Those days are over for you. Now you're one of the weak links. I know it sucks. It may not feel good, but you're one of the weak links. Act like it. Have some humility. Saleh needed to do what Cards did against Hawks. Hold on. Pack the front to show blitz, but most of the time drop back into cover 3, mix up where pressure come from. Perhaps. I just think they needed to bring a lot of pressure in that game. And I thought when they did bring pressure, it worked. I could be wrong, but I think the Niners are a little too concerned about protecting Richard Sherman than they are about calling the best defense. They needed to blitz. They needed to not, I'm not talking zone blitzes. They needed to send 5 and 6 consistently in this game. And they can't do that with Richard Sherman on the field because he can't cover man-to-man. And what he'll do is just grab a guy. He's not going to get beat. Richard Sherman will commit the pass interference to avoid. He doesn't want those clips out there. He doesn't want the highlight of him getting beat running nonstop on ESPN, on YouTube. He doesn't want it. So when Saleh calls man-to-man with a blitz, either Sherman's going to get beat running across the field or he's going to commit DPI. What are you going to do? I don't know. Sherman is Saleh's number one advocate right now, other than me, to become a head coach. Maybe he feels like he needs to. I don't know, man. I'd hate if that was the case. I'm interested to see what happens next week when Mosley comes back, because Mosley is better than Richard Sherman. Mosley allows the Niners to play man-to-man coverage and disguise their looks. When Sherman's on the field, no disguise. There's no disguise. It's freaking obvious what they're doing. Good question, Kevin. What would you think of drafting corner Haywood Jablomi? Is that his real name? Can't be his real name. I don't know. If that's his real name, I say definitely draft him, but only if that's his real name. I don't want my questions answered. I just want to make GC laugh and fight hater. Love you, Kev. Sherman wasn't the reason we lost. No, but he also was bad. Verrett was worse. Tavarius Moore was the worst of all of them. But Richard Sherman has a domino effect on the defense. He causes Robert Saleh to call vanilla, predictable zone coverages. There's no disguise. There's no mix-up. There's no change-up. And the defense gets torched. So it's not all his fault. Verrett was bad too. Moore was atrocious. But I'm guessing AJ E806TX would blame Nick Mullins for this loss. And if you're blaming Nick Mullins for this loss, I just can't take you seriously. The guy had a 95 quarterback rating. Made a couple mistakes. Everyone does. Wasn't his fault. He played better than any of you expected he would. Just blaming everything on him is intellectually dishonest, and it chaps my hide. It busts my buttons, and it grinds my gears. So don't do it. As a Bills fan, you guys do not want to run man blitzes. Allen tore them apart earlier in the year. Also, good game, and Buckner Armstead. Hey, Logan, I appreciate you. All I'm saying is zone definitely didn't work. Allowing a quarterback to complete 80% of his passes is not a winning strategy. If that's what's happening, if your zone coverage is that ineffective, you got to try something else. And you know what? You're right. Maybe going to man-to-man coverage with blitzes wouldn't have worked either. And that's why I'm not being too hard on Robert Saleh. I think he was in a position where anything he called was going to fail. But again, you cannot let a quarterback stand in the pocket and dice you up. I would rather, if I were a defensive coordinator, go down swinging, bringing pressure, than hanging back and losing by 1,000 paper cuts. I wouldn't let that happen. But I'm not a defensive coordinator, and Robert Saleh is going to be a head coach, and he's better than me. I'm just telling him what he needs to do because I'm quality control. And I'm right all the time and humble. Josh Allen is a real quarterback. Yes. So Nick Mullins lost the game because he's not Josh Allen. Agreed. He's not Josh Allen. I would love Josh Allen. Kyle could have had Josh Allen. He didn't want him. He wanted Jimmy Garoppolo or something. I don't know. He wanted Kirk Cousins. It's on him. Just remember that when I support Nick Mullins and have his back, I also agree with you that the Niners should draft a quarterback in round 1. We're on the same page. I just think you guys are a little hard on the kid. Like way hard on the kid. I don't know. I don't really care though. I mean, it's not in my family or anything. Jimmy G fanboys hate Mullins. Yeah. Like, first of all, forget Jimmy G. He's history. Nick Mullins is going to be on this team a lot longer than Jimmy G, all right? Jimmy G is going to be on like the Bears next year. Jimmy's going to back up. He's done. See you later. Sayonara. Thank you, Jimmy G. You know? Yes, he is. He gone. The Niners cannot afford him. If the Niners keep Jimmy G, Trent Williams is gone. They can't afford both. I'm keeping Trent. Mullins is a restricted free agent. Restricted, meaning he's staying. Why did Kyle not give the ball to Mostert and Debo more than he did? I don't know, man, because Kyle's a genius, man. Why would you give the ball to your 2 best running backs when the defense expects that? It's much smarter to just abandon your run game and put the whole game onto the shoulders of your backup quarterback. And then when he makes a mistake or two, to blame him. That's the way you coach. It bothers me. I mean, Kyle, you need to take responsibility for not getting the ball into the hands of your 2 best players on offense. That's on you. There's very little accountability in the NFL. I don't work in the NFL, but it seems like the way the NFL works is everyone is setting up someone to blame. If this goes wrong, it's on you. Everyone, from the GMs to the coaches to the players. And Mullins is always the one who gets the blame. You know, it's never like Kyle comes out and is like, you know what? I want to take responsibility. I want to hold myself accountable. The call on 4th and 1, I didn't like it. Wasn't good in retrospect. Here's 3 specific things I did that weren't that great. He'll never do that. That's a level of accountability you don't see in the NFL because coaches think they're just opening themselves up to get fired. So they'll say stuff like, I got to coach better. I got to do better. And it sounds good, but it's not specific. And if you ask him, all right, Kyle, name one thing specifically that you could do better, he'll be like, well, I'm not going to get into specifics. But if you ask him, hey, Kyle, what did you think of Nick Mullins' performance? He'll be like, well, you know, the quarterback sneak can't happen. False start in the quarterback sneak can't happen. Interception in the red zone can't happen. Oh, okay. So you have like 3 or 4 things specifically that you don't like about his performance, but nothing specific to say about yourself. No accountability. And Kyle's really a good coach. But when I question him as a head coach, where's the accountability? When Kyle constantly says, and you know, he doesn't always do this. Sometimes after losses, he'll blame himself. But when he does the thing where he's like, hey, you know what? I did well. I did pretty good. They need to do better. Well, that's the attitude that the rest of the team rubs off on. You know, that's the attitude Mike McGlinchey has. The attitude Trent Williams has. I played well. It's the attitude Laken Tomlinson has. I was good. I was fine. And so everything gets put on the low guy in the totem pole, the backup quarterback, you know, the backup nickelback. Hey, we would have won, but we had this backup on the field who stinks. Actually, why don't you be honest and take some real accountability? Anyway, Kyle, you're really a very, very good coach, but this is the next step. You're so good. This is the bar I hold you at. Accountability. Because when you don't take it, no one else takes it. And then that's a problem. Big picture, though, I don't expect that the Niners aren't necessarily done. My dad's going to come on tomorrow and tell me that they're done. I don't know. I still think they're going to be Washington and Dallas. I still think they're going to be 7-7 week 16. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. This was the best opponent left on the Niners schedule. Arizona and Seattle don't look particularly good. Those two just lost yesterday. So we'll see. All right, we got questions. We lost because Trent Taylor was on the field. LOL. Yeah. Why? He wasn't even on the sideline. What happened there? Were you the reporter that Kyle used to get snippy with? LOL, why don't you ask him tough questions anymore? Did the Niners tell you to back off? Yes, he did get snippy with me. I think I still do ask tough questions sometimes, but they did go to the Super Bowl last year, and he is a good coach, and he does have a backup quarterback this year. I'm not going to really be that hard on him, but next year I'm putting him right back on the hot seat. You wait. You freaking wait. I could put him back on the hot seat next week. You watch out, Kyle. You lose to Washington, all bets are off. And you know what? Kyle coaches better when I put him on the hot seat, so I might have to do that. I'm going to consider it my quality control meeting. Good question. How is cut Jimmy D4 don't resign Sherm and don't pick up Mike's 5th-year option? How much did that give us? Quite a bit. Cut Jimmy D4, don't resign Sherm, don't pick up 5th-year option. Thing is, you got to sign Trent Williams and give an extension to Fred Warner. It's going to take up a lot of money. A lot of money, and the cap's not going up. Good question, but they don't have a lot of wiggle room. Washington defense better than the Bills. Yeah, but that Washington offense isn't explosive, and the Niners defense is going to look good next week. I think the Niners defense is going to look good next week. I love Alex Smith. God love him, but he's not going to do what Josh Allen did today. He's going to look like Jared Goff the previous week, my opinion. Grant, the questions aren't changing. I'm sorry. My bad. You enjoy solid cover 3 all game. I can't stand it. I hate cover 3. Can't stand it. Oh my God. Really not a fan. I'm a man-to-man coverage guy. You know that. I am a man-to-man coverage guy. I understand the benefits of zone sometimes, but dude, when the offense is completing 80% of their passes, it ain't working. It's time to cover someone. Zone is cool, but you're not covering anyone. You're covering grass. The Niners weren't even contesting throws. The guy would catch the ball and say, all right, well, let's go rally and make the tackle. No! Pass coverage starts before the guy gets the ball, not after. That's weak. The whole let's rally and make the tackle pass coverage, that ain't it. I don't like it. Zone is so good. Shut up. Our zone defense was disgusting. Yeah, it was disgusting. Freaking disgusting. Tyler, ask it again. I'll answer it. I'm not giving the Bills enough credit. No, I am. I said the Bills are the best team left on the Niners schedule. It was a really tough matchup. The Niners were undermanned. They needed to be perfect, both in terms of execution and game plan to win this game. They weren't by a long shot. Both Saleh and Shanahan were not at their best, even though they're excellent coaches. Nick Mullins was terrific, better than you would expect. Wasn't perfect, made mistakes. Tavarius Moore, my goodness. But big picture, Niners can still make the playoffs. They could definitely win the next 4 games. This was a very hard opponent. Very good team. Better than I gave them credit for. I looked at the Chargers game and I was like, oh, well, look what the Chargers did. I mean, they really gave Josh Allen a lot of trouble. They played zone and rushed 4 and really, well, the Chargers have Joey Bosa. The Chargers can play zone coverage because they have a good 4-man pass rush. Niners don't. The Niners have to blitz. The Niners have to play man-to-man. The Niners can't do what the Chargers do. I should have known that. Sorry. I guess my quality wasn't so controlled this time. But there's always next week. How about Tevin Coleman? He was great. I liked when he lost 9 yards. That was good. Not his fault, though. But it's just, Tevin. Did Tevin have like negative 18 yards in this game? What was that? Can someone get the final stats on Tevin? The Niners should definitely consider Kimmy Head as the next defensive coordinator and elite play caller with experience. All right, well, I'll know who Kimmy Head is. It seems like you were trying to go for Jimmy and get me to say something funny, but you misspelled it. Tevin Coleman, -11 rushing yards. Thanks for looking that up. Wow. Is that a record? Is that the least rushing yards of all time? It's hard to get less than -11 rushing yards. Is that a record? Is that the most or the least on the year? It's impressive. Tevin Coleman constantly redefines what's possible from a running back. It's remarkable. No, real quick, Jeffrey Wilson, hell of a player. Hell of a player. I mean, he shook off that tackle from Laken Tomlinson and still gained like 12 yards. Laken was coming for him too, man. Laken had a beat on him, wanted to take him down. He was like, no, get off me. You got to love that. I mean, most running backs are going against 11 defenders. On that play, Wilson going against 12, still getting 12. I mean, that's just great. He's fantastic when he doesn't fumble. I love him. Jeff Wilson Jr. Oh, man. Should we sign Terry Tate office linebacker? I think he's a little past his prime. He would have been a great signing in 2002. What happened with Moser's snaps today, Grant? Got me. Kyle's too smart. Chestnut checkers. He's thinking 8 moves ahead. You just don't understand. Kyle Shanahan, genius. Looking toward the future, say no to Kyle Trask. Here's the problem with Kyle Trask. His name is way too close to Kyle Trash, and I think that's going to be a burden in the NFL. One bad game, and everyone's going to call him Kyle Trash, just like everyone calls Mitchell Trubisky Mitchell Trash Bisky. That's a lot to handle. Also, everyone keeps saying he has a weak arm, and now I can't unsee it. When I watch him, I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Can you put a little zip on that? Like, come on. Like, oh, I can't unsee it. He doesn't have a strong arm. It's not weak, but he doesn't spin it that well. He floats him, and he doesn't really have a tight spiral. Very accurate. But, God, I don't know about these quarterbacks, man. Other than Trevor Lawrence, they could all be fool's gold. I don't know. You got Zach Wilson, who's a one-year wonder at BYU. Never had a good year before this year. You got Justin Fields, who inexperienced, plays at Ohio State. Kyle Trask. I don't know. Maybe the Niners should just keep Jimmy. I'm just kidding. That's it. No, wait. Another question. Let's see. Did you see McGlinchey's tackle? Yes, I did see McGlinchey's tackle. I got to say, that was the best play of McGlinchey's season. The McGlinchey tackle on the interception. Was it the interception? Whatever it was. Freaking mauled that guy. Maybe the Niners should move Mike McGlinchey to linebacker. He couldn't be worse at linebacker than he is at right tackle. Good. I like that tackle. Sean, hi. I think we should start playing cover 10 for real. Mully, though, behind receivers. Oh, man. Okay, hold on. Behind receivers, ground balls, he can be a Pro Bowl rock skipper. It's so mean. Look, Sean. Okay? No one's saying that he should be the starting quarterback of this team next year. He's got a long way to go and a lot to prove. But, geez, I mean, he completed 66% of his passes. I don't know, man. If he was making $25 million a year, yeah, crush him. Crush that ball placement. Really nitpick that guy. Not good enough for $25 million a year. For $750K, that's more than you can ask for. This guy's making $20 million a year that can't do that can't play that well. This guy's making $30 million a year who don't play consistently as well as Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, as Nick Mullins. I'm thinking about Jimmy. I'm thinking about Jared Goff. So, keep that in mind. Denelson, I appreciate you. Kyle is the Jimmy of coaches. Oh, I gotta like this one. I like this one. Hold on. Okay. Hero Winchester. Kyle is the Jimmy of coaches. Inconsistent. Gotten mentored by one of the best. Mike and Tom Brady. Can get you with the Super Bowl, but can't win it. I can't disagree with that. Kyle and Jimmy do have a lot of similarities for two people who I think have a business relationship at best, if you know what I mean. Kyle seems so unsatisfied with Jimmy, and Jimmy seems so frustrated with Kyle, and yet they are kindred spirits. Peas in a pod. Well, that arranged marriage isn't going to last. Good question. I think it's time for me to go eat dinner, unless there's more questions. Vish, what's up? How you doing? How are finals going? We missed you today. I did a live show today, and every question was, where's Vish? And I felt, it hurt. It hurt. What's up? How you doing, man? I haven't talked to you all day, man. Vish, did you get a good grade? Vish, tell me you got a good grade. Where you at? I'll call you in 5. All right, Vish. All right, Vish. I got to go call Vish on the phone. I think Vish is not happy with me. I think he's going to call me and be like, Grant, you're too hard. You're too easy on the Niners tonight. I'm a homer. I'm just a cheerleader. I don't know what to tell you. Trey Lance. What's up, Trey? Can't call him. He's eating dinner. We've had enough of Vish. Don't lie. Can we get one of those old ESPN commercials from McGlinchey, but he just flops around for a minute? Yeah, hopefully. Okay, I'm going to go call Vish and have a little dinner and go to bed. So thanks for staying up and watching my post-game show. I'll be back tomorrow morning with my Pops, Cohn Zone Live, Tuesday morning. Stay tuned. Do I think Jimmy would have done a better job than Nick tonight? I don't. 2020 Jimmy did not do a good job of protecting himself and buying time. Remember the game against the Cardinals? That was the game where he was chasing his tail in the pocket. Also, he was a terrible downfield thrower this season. I think he completed 5 passes that went more than 20 yards past the line of scrimmage. He wouldn't have completed the pass to Brandon Eyuk. Jimmy would have struggled in this game, I think. But I can't prove it. And I'm always wrong. Am I a Jew? Yeah. What gave it away? What's for dinner? Pizza. Can't wait. Pizza. Am I a Jew? I don't know. I don't really take offense at it. Being a Jew is a good thing. I like being Jewish. And I'm glad that you're interested in my heritage. I'm assuming you're a Jewish enthusiast, aren't we all? Okay, guys. It's time to go. Thank you so much for watching. Go get some sleep. The season isn't over. The Niners can still win 4 in a row. And if there's anything that this team has shown is that they're poised to win 4 in a row after losing 4 or 5. I mean, why would we expect anything else? JC was Jewish. I still can't get over the fact I went to Catholic high school. Before I go, I don't know anything about the New Testament, all right? I went to Hebrew school, and I just understood that there was a New Testament with 4 things: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They all, okay, so I get to Catholic high school. Sophomore year, you have to take a class on Christian scriptures. So I learned that it's the same story, told 4 different ways. That's the New Testament, the same story, 4 different ways. Okay, so that's exciting, riveting. Then all 4 guys, none of them met Jesus. None of them. One guy was like 60 years younger than him. One guy was like 80 years younger than him. I raised my hand. I was like, wait, so you're telling me that none of these gospels are firsthand accounts? These are all secondary sources. And the guy was like, well, yeah. but they knew people who knew Jesus. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This is you base the whole religion on this. What if Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John what if it was an inside joke? How do we know? I'm just saying. What if it was an inside joke? They never met him. That's troubling to me. Now, whoever wrote the Old Testament never met God, so you got me there. But, so I don't know. I'm just saying. Religion's tricky like that. Okay, I'm glad we got that in. We needed to talk about that. Guys, I'm out. Vish, got to talk to you. I'll talk to you.